Welcome to Gray Overload. And Sony has had a great quarter here, selling another 2.4 million consoles for a total of the PlayStation 5 going to 80.3 million. I think they've done a really good job this generation of selling consoles overall. And it seems like they keep on going through and having a good quarter after quarter. Now, while that's all great and everything else, we have noticed that Sony's putting more and more of their games elsewhere, right? We've seen it more on PC, and we've even heard about stuff coming to Xbox here. I think is one on Xbox right now, or is it coming to? I can't remember that news article that was a couple weeks back. So Sony seems to, has been very hardware focused, I would say, and does that continue? And there was a report I was reading today, and this was on WCCF Tech, which I was pretty interested in. We're going to talk about this more than just the 80 million consoles they've sold for this generation, but the big thing was from their Q&A, and I was going through some of this and looking at it, but they want to move more from a hardware centric business to a platform business model. So while they sell a lot of consoles, and that's a lot, the exclusivity of these games looks like that there's going to be more and more move over, kind of what Xbox did. Now, I've said this with Xbox, right? You have to give your fans something, right? You have to still pour into your fans at some level so that you have this, and hopefully Sony, maybe with their slower approach, recognize this more. Don't be jumping around like Xbox does, trying to figure out, like, we raise games. Nope, just kidding. We're going to keep the games the same prices. Oh, we raised prices on all our console stuff. Oh, we need a little, price changing here and there. Do it. Give something to the fans. Give something to the people that support you. And I think that that's a better reward system than and making sure people look at you in the best light and want to be still supporting those games, that whatever platform they go on, right, there's still going to be the gamers out there that are supporting this, that are fans of you, that may play it on these other platforms, that may switch to other platforms because your game's there, but they want to support you, and you want to keep them in there for your system, your games that you're developing, and say, we still appreciate you. That's my little bit on that. Who knows, maybe I'll come back to that. But one thing I want to say about this is that while we're seeing Xbox, right, take this approach to doing that, right, they seem to still want hardware there on the back end at some level. Will they sell a lot of consoles? I think that Sony will still do well in the console market here, but moving to a platform-based system is, you may see more of these games on Nintendo, on Xbox, on PC, and that will be quite interesting to see how they're able to compete and really produce some more revenue for their company. Because in the end, I actually think what'll happen is hopefully more competition in the gaming market, more games for us to play, right? That's the end thing that I really like, is to see all the extra games to play. I like gaming, so I don't have as much time for gaming, but if the games are here and everyone can play them, that's a great thing for all gamers. And hopefully that there'll be a longevity to that, where a lot of these games can be played cross-platform or on these systems and supported for a longer period of time, right? There's the initiative to save all games. This may help with that, where these games now are across multiple platforms. We actually have to support these games more and think about that, because we don't want to leave fans of these games hanging in one way or another. So that could be a positive thing. But one thing I also think will hopefully do is maybe put some more effort into maybe making sure that software gets better, but more importantly, hardware, and the game hardware they're using is going to be well developed for the games they're on, and maybe even push a little bit out there so that we can have better consoles, better PCs, better hardware altogether, better graphics for games in general. And that's one thing I'm waiting to see on how this approach is going to happen, because if you take out the console side, and let's just say, we kind of know what some of the hardware leaks are already. We've seen what the past console generations do. So let's take a step back for a second, and now just look at maybe, okay, we're making all this money from these games. We can develop more games, but now we want to invest in the hardware side, kind of deliver more for the user. We got ray tracing that's still, while it's there, we're still not full ray tracing stuff, right? We're still getting there, and maybe that can come down in price. But how do we deliver more hardware? How do we deliver better use of that hardware for users? Can we leverage that in a way to help have better graphics, have people that want better fidelity have that, maybe better frame rates for those that want to have better frame rates, to have consistency. I was listening to Moore's Law is Dead. He was talking about how a lot of games, you could probably do something, and get them to just 4K 120 hertz, and I think that's a great option because I think that's kind of the sweet spot. I like 4K, and over, if you can get over 60, I'm perfectly, that's even better, right? My thing is I like to play at 4K, I like the fidelity, and then if you can get the higher frame rates, that's a benefit. And let's say you get there, and now we bring ray tracing up to that, and let's get that standard saying, okay, this is the new standard, 4K 120. If you want faster, let's say, there's a shooter, let's say we can get those games even faster. We got monitors out at 610 hertz, which is, for those that want that, right? And if we can get that push and maybe see some development here, because we've seen Sony go outside of just developing console, right? They did VR. Granted, it seems like it's no longer here, but they would be willing to try something else out. And let's say they have their games on PC and even Xbox and everything else. Maybe that thing, and the VR headset I think even came out for PC eventually, had support on the PC. Maybe that's going to be, hey, we're supported on PlayStation and PC, and we're going to see that support there. That would be kind of cool. Maybe there can be some more technologies that propagate through their games, and maybe something else will hit. So these are options that I think, or I'm thinking about, of what the future is here. But overall, I want to say, congratulations to Sony for selling so many consoles. I like to see that. I like to see, having success there, right? And as long as you're delivering, a good product, hopefully people will buy it, right? And you're supporting it, so that's good. But this whole moving towards the platform business, it's one of those things where you kind of take a look. So we expect more games. I expect exclusivities for on PlayStation. If you're going to go to Xbox or Nintendo, give your supporters some of that benefit of having exclusive windows at least, and maybe PC launch at the same time. We'll see. But hopefully these game studios keep taking into account, let's take the holistic view of this. It's going to work on everything. And with hardware being so close to PC anyways, we'll see some of this. Maybe even a PlayStation OS at some point. I'm only slightly joking here. That would be interesting. Or work with Steam to get something out. That could be a possibility. The items are endless. But it was just interesting, to see what they were coming about with and talking about, especially in these Q&As, to kind of see where their heads are at, for upcoming years, especially because we know they're coming out with another console. So we should pay attention to that. So let me know your thoughts on Sony going to a platform business model over the hardware-centric business model, and where do you stand on that, and what do you hope they do for at least the fans that still want to support and be a player with Sony. So with that, for me, it's still looking like I maybe should just buy or build a PC to replace my Xbox that thing can play a lot of these games and have something there in the media center. I think that's still an option. That's hopefully something I can get to here this year. But kind of interesting here. I want to thank you all for listening, watching Gray Overload, and helping this channel grow. I really do appreciate it. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit that bell icon. It really does help with the channel. Until next time, God bless.